Another week, another episode of everyone's favorite political war drama, Legend of the Attack on Titans. The three warring factions, Paradise Island led by Eren and Lee, Marley led by Reiner von Lohengram, and the neutral party of the Eldians. This week we had tons of stuff happen, though. We had the introduction to Willie and the Tiber family, Eren meeting with his grandfather, and finally, our first man-to-man confrontation with Eren and Reiner in many years. Attack on Titan is about to heat up in the next couple episodes, guys, so let's discuss everything that went down in this episode, as well later on in the video, discussing some important talking points with a very special guest you don't want to miss, so let's get into it. Introduced into Season 4 in Episode 2, the Tiber family makes their proper introduction into the series with this episode. Needless to say, Willie and the bunch introduced a lot of mystery and intrigue into the series, most importantly with his views on Marley and Eldians, but as well his own personal beliefs about his stance on being the head of the military and the ever-looming play that he's putting on at the festival. Meeting with Magath, the conversation quickly turns to the Warhammer Titan. Willie asks him if he knows where the Warhammer Titan is, but it's hidden so well he doesn't have a clue. Magath, believing it may not be there at all, though Willie reassures him it's there. I personally have a theory that Willie is the Warhammer Titan, though obvious it may seem, there are a couple things which make me believe that to be the case. Let's discuss. Firstly, in this scene with Magath and Willie, Willie talks of visiting the statue of Helos and how Marley needs a hero once more. Magath suggests conscription, which is a draft for those that don't know, so that Marley will once again go towards the path of war and expansion. While on the contrary, Willie wants Magath to join him, thus putting an end to the tensions between Eldia and Marley. So they form that alliance. Magath now has control of the military, but then the oddest thing happens. It's not really odd, but Willie starts to talk about how much of a burden it is to control the military. He now understands why his predecessors never tried to reach for it, as it's such a heavy burden. He wishes that he could just let all of it go, but he fully knows how now, at this moment, he simply can't. It was he who the burden just happened to fall upon. He was the wrong man at the wrong time, so now he has to shoulder that burden. There is some interesting doublespeak in here, though, that I think could mean Willie is the Warhammer Titan. Willie is talking about the military and how much of a burden it is. As we know with the other Titan shifters, everyone has a finite lifespan until it's passed on to the next person. As well, he talks about his predecessors, like he knew exactly what they were thinking by not trying to have control of the military. We also know Titan shifters inherit the memories of others, thus this makes me believe that Willie is the Warhammer Titan, but as well with Willie holding this play, it makes me think that he will make some sort of big reveal on who it is, if it ain't him. So even if it's not Willie, I think we will be seeing within the next 2 episodes the reveal of the Warhammer Titan and just the possible destructive force it is capable of. So that's my theory, but I can't be 100% wrong, but it's pretty much the best theory I got right now. You guys, put down in the comments below what your theories are. Though a little bit more on Willie, it seems with him he is a rather beloved individual in this world. Being called the kin of our savior, he is revered by many. This is evident when at the dinner party where one of the rich and influential Marley does a speech telling them to wash away their feelings down the toilet with this wine. Obviously, the people react very negatively over this, as this is basically him rubbing the salt in their wounds over this whole ordeal. But also, I mean, look at this guy. He's a fat bald dude saying all these hollow words with a shit-eating grin. Of course nobody likes him. This guy just sucks. But when Willie comes over, their reactions change and they welcome him with this warm smiles and generosities. This really hammers in how trusted Willie is to the people at this party and the elite around the world. He then invites them all to a play, a theater if you will, that he believes will solve these problems. In my opinion, they may be inviting themselves to a slaughter, because what better way to make a change than to get rid of the people that are causing the problems in the first place. Now we have to discuss Gabi and Falco in this episode, and I cannot wait to talk about them because there is so much between these two characters' relationships I find so interesting. The first interesting wrinkles we see are in episode 2 when Falco talks about Gabi dying young at 27 if she becomes a warrior, and then Reiner does his whole scary face thing. Then in this episode we have our first real moment confirming that Falco has feelings for Gabi, and that's when Falco beats Gabi in a race. Later after that, we see a sore loser Gabi headbutt Falco, and she asks just why Falco is doing any of this. Falco's position in all this is actually really interesting, and there's a lot of really subtlety to it. He is poised to inherit the Beast Titan from Zeke and will become an honorary Marleyan no matter what. Which, actually, a little bit of a fun fact from Satsuki the Savage, who helped edit this script, Falco and Colt are descendants of an Eldian restorationist, the same restorationist that was responsible for Grisha's involvement. In particular, this Eldian restorationist, and thus is why they work so hard. They don't exactly like being called traitors. So thank you for that little tidbit, Mr. Satsuki the Savage. Make sure to go subscribe to his channel and watch his AOT videos. He's got a bunch of them out. So anyways, Gabi is confused by how Falco is acting. Why keep Gabi from succeeding in her role when she is obviously meant for it? Falco has nothing to gain, so to Gabi, it seems like Falco is trying to sabotage her for, well, no reason. So Gabi wants to know why he's doing this, and Falco tells her plainly that he's doing it for her. Sadly, dense Gabi she just doesn't quite get it. So this scene is just really well done. It shows a side of both Falco and Gabi that I think adds another layer to their already well thought out characters. For Falco, it shows that he's a considerate person who thinks before he acts. This is already obvious by how observative he is of situations and people. Think back to episode 2 when Falco asks himself if he can really trust Reiner. That's a perfect example of how smart and observative Falco is, but he's still youthful and inexperienced, as evident by his interactions with Kruger, aka Eren Jaeger, earlier in the episode. In a sense, Falco can be seen as a relatable character personality-wise to some. It's even more heartbreaking to see how he interacts with Gabi and how she just doesn't notice him at all. Ugh, youth. This is where we get into Gabi. So far, she seems self-centered and focused on her own goals. I would even go as far as to compare her to Eren Jaeger in season 1 in some regards. She's always serious business and is so dead set on her goals, she takes most things too seriously. Instead of congratulating Falco and beating her, showing a kind of sportsmanship, she instead decides to drill her head into him and comes off as a complete sore loser. Even when Falco basically comes out and reveals a part of his feelings to her, she is so lost in her own head that she can't ground herself and realize that Falco is just trying his best for her and not for him. But it's something I hope works out for them eventually, as I think the two together are actually quite adorable, in a weird, militaristic weapons of mass destruction rubbing up against each other kind of way. Also, you best bet, I thought this was one of the best scenes in this episode. I love it when AOT develops the relationships between two characters like this, and it makes me think back to the good old days with the best ship of AOT, Hanj and Kawai Titan. Good stuff. So, the scene with Eren, Falco, and Jaeger really sheds light on a lot of what's going on through Eren's head. Falco thanks Eren for all he's done to help him, keep moving forward, really taking to heart the things Eren has said to him. Eren, though, returns that appreciation to Falco, suggesting after the festival, he'll finally return to his hometown. This, to me, means not only is Eren going back to his hometown, but he's got something planned for this festival, and that whatever is happening in the next couple of episodes is going to be batshit insane, and you best believe I am there for it day one. I am so excited, you have no idea. But besides that, Eren got a catcher's mitt and a ball, so he had a good Christmas this year. But actually, I have a theory that there is something inside that ball and mitt that will be pertinent to information on maybe a meeting point, something like that, or what have you. Put down in the comments below what you guys think inside the ball, or if it's just a normal ball, I don't know. So, the first ever meeting of grandson and grandfather, Eren Jaeger and Eren's father, Jaeger. We can call him Jaeger, right? That'd be pretty funny, just literally pronounce the J. Anyways, as Eren has been passing notes to others through Falco, unbeknownst to any of us what is actually inside of them, Jaeger comes out and tells him to stop making Falco do these things as it could get him into trouble. Jaeger has already figured out Kruger isn't really as bad as he seems, though Eren responds asking him if Jaeger regrets anything, which sees him go into a fit, and there it's revealed that Jaeger isn't a physician at all. It's actually quite sad. He's become a patient of this ward, and it's just so heartbreaking. The way that Jaeger turned out, his daughter being murdered and his son going on to seemingly disappear or die, only to start a new family. It's also bittersweet that this is the first time he's talking to his grandson, and he doesn't even realize that. Yet, Eren does, as he has all of his father's memories. Such a sad ending to this man's life, but at the same time, you have to wonder how much he regrets taking the actions he took by not standing up for the death of his daughter. This is probably the lowest moment of the episode by far. But on a lighter note, though maybe more depressing. After Reiner's wallets are drained by the kids, Falco brings Reiner down to the cellar where none other than Eren Jaeger resides. A meeting in the making for years now. Reiner and Eren are in a room together, and I have no idea how this is going to turn out, but I have some theories. I personally think this won't end in a fight because this is something Eren and all of us viewers have been waiting for a long time. To see Reiner and Eren, two very similar people as I've discussed in my last video, with very similar ideals and actions meet and discuss why Reiner did it. I think this is an important moment not for Eren, but for Reiner because, well, we know why he did it. We just don't know how he really truly feels about that moment. For this whole season, we've been focusing on Reiner, and what better way to complete Reiner's arc than to have this meeting, this conversation, to get it from the horse's mouth about how he feels about what he did to them. This is the moment where they will bear it all. And the reason I don't think it will lead to a fight is because of Falco's presence, which is very important for a multitude of reasons. So hear me out. With Falco there, those two can't just turn into Titans, as it would probably harm young Falco. But I do think that Eren is on some crazy ass Steiner math, and Falco being here is an important part of all of this. Eren, in a way, plans to fill Falco in on everything that has happened through this conversation with Reiner to essentially turn Falco or plant the seeds of a turn inside of him. Reiner being there and knowing Eren, reacting the way he did, validates in a sense what Eren will say to Reiner and that the stories Falco will hear about them. So remember in episode 2 when Reiner was discussing the stories of the devils in paradise? Well, this is important because now there is a devil right in front of them, and Falco's interactions with Eren so far have been innocent and has helped Falco move forward to challenge Gabi and possibly even save her life. That's invaluable to anyone, and I imagine it's invaluable to Falco as well. This means on some level, Falco trusts Eren, and thus when he hears about what Reiner did, you know very well Falco will take notes on these things, and it will help further support in some sense the doubt he's already been feeling about Reiner, and thus helping Falco come to important decisions much more informed. But I want to hear your theories on how you guys and gals think about how this conversation went down. I'm all ears. This was a really great part. But like I said earlier, I have a very special guest on today's video to discuss their reactions to the final credits scene and what they took away from it. So take it away, guys.
I feel bad for all the people who skipped over this end credit scene because, wow, this changes everything. After becoming Eren's personal mail delivery boy, Falco has unknowingly placed himself right in the middle of something huge. He runs to Reiner right before Willie Tyber is about to go on stage, insisting that he follows him, and I'm pretty sure what Reiner finds is the last thing he expected to see. Following Falco down into a basement, he sees the man who Falco refers to as Kruger, although we know that's complete BS, but before he can even react, Eren reveals his identity on the spot, and I'm certain everyone watching had the exact same reaction as Reiner. I don't think anyone saw this coming, and the fact that Eren is now openly revealing his presence to Reiner on a whim makes me think that Eren definitely has a bigger plan that's already in motion. I can't even imagine the thoughts going through Reiner's mind right now, as all of his memories from years ago with the survey course surely are surfacing all at once. Unfortunately, now we have to wait 2 more weeks to find out exactly what Eren could possibly want to talk to Reiner about, but I can only imagine it's not going to be a happy reunion at all. Also, rip to my boy Falco, who really has no clue of the massive pickle he's in right now. I definitely think Falco is going to be demanding for an explanation after this, and he might have to choose who he can trust, Reiner or Eren.
So thank you to Bwuckshot, 1/3 of the Baka Boys, for appearing on this video. If you haven't, please check them out. But before you leave, I want to mention that I have a Teespring where I sell all kinds of exclusive stuff like mugs and t-shirts. If anything here interests you, then please check it out. And remember that if you buy a KOA shirt, it is split between all members of the King of Anime podcast. So you end up supporting Satsuki the Savage, who helped edit the script and everything animated. Thank you all for watching. Have a terrific day, and I'll see you later. Bye-bye.